Hmm. Hi, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hold
You
on.
can't hear me? Can
Oh,
you hear
now
me
I
now?
can. Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah. Shiny.
Hi.
Welcome to my house.
Oh,
This
are
is
you?
Oh, you can see my view.
Oh my. Oh. Oh
Can
my
you see that?
God.
No.
Oh, Tina.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
That's the sunroom.
Hi,
And there's Cedar.
Peter.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my. Oh, Tina.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. Anytime, girl, in the summer, it's unbelievable here.
I push that.
Oh my gosh. It's funny. I was just reading my 5-year plan
Yeah.
and I wrote it. Let's see.
I'm just opening up some gum. Hold on.
It's not a gun.
Oh, what is it?
It's like a thing you suck on. What's so funny about that?
I can't get it open.
What kind of gum is it?
I don't
Happy
know.
New Year, Peter.
It's a slider push pop.
Push pop sliders.
Go get me a spoon over there.
Now I got a spoon.
And then I can go upstairs to be private unless you stay in your gaming room. Okay. Mary Beth just left and the fireplace
Oh,
is now like totally like ripping. I'm like, I don't want to leave the living room. It's so like
I'll just go.
it's got such good juju going on.
does. Okay, Cedar, I do not know why I can't open this.
I know I couldn't either. It's super hard.
Okay.
I'll go make some tea while you're working on that.
Okay. What's this do?
No, Mom. It shows you get. No, you don't push this forward. You see it?
Yeah, oh yeah, I was doing that.
And then after, once you push it forward, you put that backwards, and then it gives out.
Okay. I don't know why I can't get it.
It's really hard. Oh, that's a good idea. Imagine you break this one.
I can't get it, Pookie. I'll have to get it later for you. Okay. And maybe Angus can. Is Angus even awake yet?
No,
Really?
really.
Okay.
Is there anything else that I can eat?
Like food?
Well, really anything.
Well, not in this very moment because I'm about to give a call. But if you go into the fridge, you can find there's some meat in there.
Any
I can't get it. Sorry.
pizza pops?
Nope, no pizza pops. All of the frozen stuff is gone. Okay, leave me alone now.
Have there? Oh, can I make a rubber float?
Nope. You haven't eaten any food today. Want me to get you a bowl of cereal?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna grab. What's that, Lovey?
Did you get the gum open?
No, we didn't get it open. I'm just gonna grab my book. I'll be right back. I don't know that we have any, but you're welcome. Anything you can eat, anything you can see.
Let's make a rubber float after I eat something.
We don't have. Hey, Peppers. All right. Yeah. Okay. So tell me about your book. You were writing. You're like you're just talking. Like I said, come in the summer. It'll be so warm.
I know I was just writing that where do I want to live in 5 years, or where do I want to be in 5 years? And I wrote this in January 2017. It says, I want to be living in my lovely home near the ocean with a big open kitchen view designed for entertainment. I want to live in a place where it's easy to spend much of the time outside enjoying the nice ocean breeze and the fragrant air.
Oh my
And then there's so much more about that. But your view just kind of, holy smokes, it just like, whoa.
Well, that's exactly where I live.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly where I live.
Tina. Oh, can you go a little closer to the window?
Yeah.
I just want to capture.
Let me unplug. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at your son. Oh, look at,
Yeah. And I have a sunroom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's a sunroom right there. So that sunroom is my mud room. And then there's my cozy little living room. And yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I can just feel my heart pounding and reacting to this.
Wow.
That's so amazing.
Can you see? Have I frozen?
Yeah. No, I can see. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, this is so amazing.
Yeah. And so there's a little beach down there I can get to.
Yeah.
As well. And then I've got what I call a no excuses run, right? Yep. Which is just 5-6K, just like a 30-minute run.
Yeah.
Right by the golf course as well. And trails, I'm still exploring trails around here.
Yeah.
Trails around here too. But yeah, we saw orcas. About 3 pods of orcas 3 days ago out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this was the house I wasn't looking for.
Yeah.
I had said to the universe, I've been saying to the universe for like years, all I want is a cabin by the ocean. That's all I want. I just want a cabin by the ocean.
Yeah.
So it's good for me because I think the next step for me is figuring out how to, as long as I can rent this place, and I can probably rent here forever.
Yeah.
But I would, eventually I'd like to buy a cottage by the ocean. And it might be on Gambier, or it might be on Keats, and have a city condo.
Yeah.
And I might even just rent a city condo, but have a cottage, by the ocean. But yeah, I hear you. I know exactly. I know of what you speak.
Yeah.
And I think this house sleeps when there's 5 bedrooms in here. And upstairs is where I sleep is almost a dorm unto itself. It has my office is up there, my bedroom's up there, and the bedroom's massive. Like really, I'm even thinking once my kids move out, I could run retreats here, or here with a couple of women, It's hard to say, it's a rental, but it's old family property, and I don't think they're if they had a good renter here, I don't know that they would ever move anybody in here. The property tax on all of the other properties that this place is in. So
is the rent comparable to your other place?
Exactly what I was paying the other place.
Oh, Tina, I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
That's fabulous. What a great way to start the new year.
I know. It is. You remember Carmel?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went to her thing, the New Year's Eve thing that she did. And I walked, and oh, she came to my birthday thing, and she looked at me and she's like, "You're different. You're different." And then she said, "It's your house. It's your house." And I'm like, yeah, like something really moved in.
Yeah.
And spiritually, something moved in. Like pieces of me really just opened up. Like there's a wildness to me that is grounded when I'm in wildness. Like if I'm not in wildness, I'm actually a bit off. Because
like almost like frenetic as opposed to wildness.
Yeah. And when I'm around bigness on the outside, it like centers my bigness on the inside. And then my equilibrium is there. So anyway, it's pretty important for me to live in a place like this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the driveway is stupid. Like most people would never live here. The driveway's not that long, but it's rugged. Like it's a rugged driveway.
Yeah.
Gravel road, dirty, mucky. Yeah.
Oh, I am delighted for you. Oh, yay. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's really great.
And it's here to be enjoyed. So come.
Okay.
Come. Lots of room.
Yeah.
Come. Mary Beth and I were talking, like, so the Joshua Tree thing is going really well. So that's this month. We're thinking we might do one in November too.
Okay.
So like January, start your year, and in November, finish your book.
I would have loved to have come. I got your text this morning, and I speak on the 25th, right smack dab in the middle in Kelowna.
Oh yeah.
And otherwise, like I have the days off around it, but not like smack dab in the middle. So I was quite disappointed because that's actually doing something with the two of you would be fabulous. So yeah.
In November then, because I think we're gonna make this sort of annual. So for those who are like have that starting energy, they come in January, and then some people get finishing energy. They want to finish something, and then and I think the November one will do it here.
Yeah, awesome.
I can kick all the kids out, buy some beautiful bedding, for the weekend or the week or whatever, transform their rooms and cozy up this house. Ooh, that's a writing.
Oh, I dream of that actually. That whole idea of sort of a women's retreat set in a setting where everybody's contributing, everybody's feeding off of each other's energy, and I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I really feel that and see it and see what's possible. And I like the idea. I love the idea of cooking together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, right? Like, having the retreat. I loved our Trailblazers retreat, but I actually love the act of cooking together and creating together, right? The act of eating and cleaning up and right? Like all of those sort of domestic kind of chores that you do together in such a way that allows for peace, harmony, and balance, right? Yeah. And creativity.
Wow, I love that vision of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's almost like it's group led, group facilitated, group, like it's a little bit more along the lines of what Shar was doing, or maybe is doing at Xenia, right? With her, because it could easily morph into what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Easily, because even the way she leads that workshop or retreat is like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Where everyone's kind of feeding into it, and one of the things I do want to, and I think about this because when I was in Mexico, I did a lot of physical, like intense physical work in terms of like literally cycling every day, working out really hard, and doing yoga, and not relaxing yoga, but doing intense yoga and stimulating the muscles in a different sort of way. Lots of running and walking. Shar even said to me, she goes, if I didn't know you better, I'd think you actually had a bit of an addiction or something. She said, I know you well enough that I know you're catching up from weeks of being on airplanes and in hotels, because to be in one spot for 2 weeks, and literally I worked my ass off. Like I was working out like nobody's business. Like, wow. I feel like I'm in really, really good physical shape right now. I feel strong, and all my muscles feel quite activated, like not only the big ones but the little ones as well. Wow. Which is kind of what yoga did for me. So I feel physically, I actually just got back from the gym. That's why I look the way I do.
Girl, good job.
I'm like, this is what 52 looks like.
Oh my God, look at you! Oh my God, girl, looking good. Wow.
So I feel metabolically strong and
yeah.
So
wow. Holy crap. All right, well, let's jump in.
All righty.
How were your holidays?
Oh, you know what? They were awesome, and they were ridiculous. Like they were both ends. It was so much fun having the kids home and having grandbabies here, and it was chaos. And Stephen and I did really well for the most part until the kids left. And then, not that we've been at each other's throat, we've been just sort of circling the same things over and over again. And he's in Kelowna right now, and I'm just relieved to have him gone. And at the same time, like I'm watching sort of the pattern of feeling really guilty, you know. So
yeah, wow, that's big.
Yeah, but it was, you know, it was overall it was a really fun and chaotic and active holiday, and lots of times I had to force myself to go out and just go skiing and get away from everything, instead of just keep cooking and keep cleaning and keep entertaining everybody and meeting obligations and stuff like that. But also a lot of family observations as well of just patterns and patterns of behavior, patterns of relating, those sorts of, just observing those sorts of things, and getting, you know, prepped for the new year, and super excited about the new year, and about kind of getting started, knowing it's going to be, you know, jetting pretty big. And I've when I start to kind of think about it and get pumped about it, I'm super excited. Hey, did I end up showing you I don't think I did.
No, because we were on the phone.
Yes, that's right. And I never got it. So I'm gonna show you this.
Okay.
I'm gonna share my screen with you. Okay, so I'm gonna share.
Wow.
So this is kind of my brochure, and I've got some language around it before it goes out, but you know, do you want to build a culture of excellence in leadership and governance? And then 2 programs, peer-to-peer mastermind group and team and individual strategic coaching. So designed it by the purpose, the process, and the payoff.
Yeah.
And then basically the promise is to investigate roadblocks that prevent you from being an optimal governing team, safeguard you from pitfalls, and provide strategic leadership solutions to your most head-scratching challenges. So,
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I would flip the third one to the top one. Provide strategic leadership solutions to your most head-scratching challenges.
Okay.
Because it's the most, it speaks to how I probably feel right now.
Okay.
Because you're like, oh, head-scratching challenges. You're like, yes, that's where I'm in right now. Whereas the first one, investigate any roadblocks. Like, yeah, that's good, but it doesn't hit me on what hurts.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Just as a thought, I would move that to the top one.
I'm gonna highlight the text. Okay.
Okay. Super.
Awesome. And there's quite a bit on here.
Yeah.
But it is geared to more of an, like it's geared to an academic group, right? That are going to need to know exactly what kind of they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And so they're going to want, something that's just not eye-catching that they look at for 2 seconds and go, right?
Yeah. No, it's government. It's more deliverables. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very much about kind of, some of the language is still very energetic language, but it still is, there's a rigor to it. It's meant to be a bit of a rigor. But there also be some language going out around it, and in terms of what. So that's that is that. So I'm gonna have that ready to launch like on Friday, and it'll probably go out Monday to specific clients. And it's going to be marketed basically as this is a limited, there's limited spaces, and this is how it's gonna, this is what it's gonna be, this is how it's gonna look. Developing some guidelines and some intake process. So so that's part of that. Yeah, so that's happening. And then I've got lots of governance training coming up over the next little while. But I've been thinking about this whole idea of, okay, like writing the book and what that entails. And of course I want it to entail something much more holistic than just, the governance work that I do.
Okay. So it's almost like in my own words kind of thing, right? Like so your voice, like from my own experience, my own, so they're meeting you. Okay.
And get into sort of the that leadership is about, it's about your personal life, your professional life. Leadership is what you eat, it's what you drink, it's what you do, it's what you think, it's who you connect with, it's how you engage, it's where your filters lie, right? It's
right. So it's like personal leadership, professional leadership, team leadership, and then it goes into bigger,
almost global leadership. Yeah.
So this, what you eat, what you drink, what you do, that's like personal leadership. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God, it's so interesting. Shahar's book, who I think I've tagged you in his stuff, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
His stuff is what I'm just noticing is we're all talking about the exact same thing. But you're bringing it through the perspective of governance, and government, right?
Yeah.
Is spiritual communities, right?
Yeah.
So, yours is government communities. but it's the same. So if I was to draw all this stuff in his, it would be that he says it takes, his approach is it takes 7 years. See, and I think I told you this already, right? Because you've got 7 generations.
7 generations, yeah.
This is, it takes 7 years. It takes 7 years to evolve a community.
Mm.
And the first level is safety. And so establishing safety. So you're essentially saying the same thing, personal leadership, what you eat, what you drink, what you do, which is like not necessarily safety, but a different version of safety. I'm just noticing that it's really interesting how it's like everyone's, it's all stacking on, like the next wave of leadership is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're it.
Yeah. and it's big, and it's going to shift. Yeah. And when it shifts, it's going to be huge.
Yeah. Right. Do you say that? It's big and it's going to shift, and when it shifts, it's going to be huge. Do you let yourself say that?
That's a good question. Probably right now only in very small circles.
Right.
Because we got into a few political conversations, over Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was more observing the conversations as opposed to participating in them, but observing the fact that people, that at least the people in my life and my circles, not in my circles, not in my circles, but say family.
Yeah.
And so when I listen to family conversations and extraneous people, they're focused on content.
Yeah.
They're not focused on context.
Yeah.
Right. They're focused on kind of what's happening instead of why is it happening.
Yeah.
And very focused on, I said something the other day and I realized it didn't land at all. I said, I'm not freaked out about what's going on politically. I'm like, that's not where power resides. Yeah, it's where authority resides, but not power. So get real. And I could see that it was not understood. And I was okay with that. But I get it. I also get sometimes that these concepts are difficult to articulate. And this is why I think people are very focused on what is happening instead of looking for what's happening below, like why is it happening below the surface, right?
So you just come up with another great speaking point around power versus authority.
But that comes back to the whole personal power, because the only person that you can control first is you. And that's where personal power comes in. And we think power resides in authority, and power actually is internal power. And this comes right back to, Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning.
Okay.
We behave collectively sometimes as if we have no choice in life in terms of what we do, forgetting that we make decisions every step of the way about how we're going to react, how we're going to respond, if we're going to pause, if we're going to eat something, if we're going to eat shit, right? If we're going to drink. It was interesting because I really feel, and I think I said this to you last time when I was writing in my journal, and I wrote sort of that download of, I feel very much like again, energetically, like I need that. Part of my process is actually being super clean in my diet and in my drinking, and as if we don't have time to fool around. Right? Like, you know, you've done that. Now it's time to kind of move on and clean up those, clean those things up.
Yeah.
Because I need you in peak physical condition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like I need you to be at your best.
Yeah. Love it.
And so that's going to require presence. It's going to require not being clogged up with toxicity.
There's like stuff coming out of you.
I know.
It's different. It's different. You're like, so I could follow this train of this new emerging message, but we have to go back and finish what makes you money.
Yeah.
I could follow this train, and it's a good one, and it's part of the bigger conversation of the 7 generation story. So tell me about your year for 2019. What you said when you said about taking off, about jetting pretty big. You're going to jet pretty big. Tell me about 2019 so that we can start tackling these things connected to your big picture and get them out there. What do you see?
So I see a bigger political influence, and I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, if it's through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities,
okay,
or whether it's provincially.
Right.
I see some political influence, being able to leverage some political influence.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because we touched on this briefly last time, the different layers of government, right? The municipal, provincial, federal. In your like gut, where do you feel you are made to serve?
Like at what level?
At what level?
Yeah.
Or it could be, the answer might be all levels that comes. I don't know. But is there a level that you feel like you are made to serve there?
Probably more at the federal level, but I don't know what that looks like. It just gut, that's my gut instinct.
Okay, great. Okay, that helps. I ask that so if we don't get bogged down. So we don't get bogged down in like the municipal or bogged down in the provincial. We're like, okay, we're moving towards a bigger conversation. Okay. So 2019, bigger political influence and leveraging some of your political connections and such this year. So when you see yourself, knowing that we can't actually see what the universe has in store for us, we can't see that yet. So we are surrendering, because it's going to be anything we can come up with. It's going to be way better than anything we can come up with, right? And it's not about limitations. It's so like really in the land of what you feel and sense for 2019. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel like you're told to do for 2019?
I feel in some ways that, and I ended the year like this. I ended the year completely immersed in my message, and that's how I want to enter the year. Completely immersed, without reservation, just with courage and clarity and
courage, clarity,
a no nonsense approach with and the courage is around telling the truth, like the truth serum, right? Telling the truth about what it's going to take in our political landscape to deal with some of the challenges that we have. And of course, right now, my area of expertise is twofold. It's around infrastructure, but it's more around, that's a piece of the larger picture around intentional leadership.
Okay. No duty.
So right now, you know, how I make my money is on a smaller scale, working with small local governments right across, you know, right across the province, the Yukon, and the East Coast, working with these small local governments to influence change within their systems.
Yeah.
But I see a larger platform without losing the ability to impact at an individual level, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to get lost in the noise.
So just say that again so I can hear it again.
Well, I think what happens sometimes is that the beauty of, and the greatest pleasure sometimes comes from working with, you know, individual groups and actually seeing them implement change, because it feels doable when we're sitting in a room of 10 and they're talking to me directly. Whereas what happens sometimes is when you're talking to a big group, they see you're the speaker and you're talking about things that are impossible and there's 200 of us, and they don't see that, you know, my story actually comes from a place of fucking it up over and over again to actually being able to implement leadership changes that make a difference. Does that make sense? And maybe I'm just
I think what you're saying, without, like, from a deliverable perspective, is you know how to do, like, one of the things that you do is you are able to work on a big scale, like federal level, where you are actually you might be standing on a stage and talking to 100 people, or you might be in a conference room and talking to 50 people. I don't know, top leaders, whatever, but there's more than 10. You have the ability to talk to a large number of people, but keep the beauty of talking to 10 people so that the 100 people can implement change.
Exactly. So it's that organic nature that and you said it last time, right? The closing currency is the connection, right? Like you're one of us. And because, like I said, when I was in Prince Edward Island and there's 200 and 250 people in the room, and I'm up there and I'm just delivering material as if there's 10.
Yeah.
And I felt like my best self. And that's the kind of organic experience based on, again, like I said, the magic, it happens when I trust my body of work.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I have a couple things in my head. So around this. So one, there's a marketing piece of this, which is, do you want to be marketed like that? Do you want other people to be saying that about, or do you want that on your website? Do you want that as a part of your flavor? Is that when Christina Benty talks to your group, it feels like she's talking to just you, or she takes big situations and creates small doable solutions, or small solutions with big impact. I'm just trying to, like, there's something that you're saying in here that's really important from you, and because it's all about, especially because you said earlier, you said that you're going to jet pretty big. The only way we jet pretty big this year is if everyone around you knows what you stand for, how you do what you do, and why you're fucking special.
So I think what I do is I can take complex complex challenges and make them relatable.
Yeah.
And
Is that on your site? Is that word relatable on your site?
No. It's interesting. I just ran into my website person and said to her, I said, I really do need to freshen up my website.
Right. There's something about, you're right. That's part of that big change that you said that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Relatable. And it's also, it's this isn't new. Like, this isn't, the reason I know it's like so ridiculously simple, but I'm hunkering in here because it's the same fucking message you've been saying since the first call we had.
Yeah.
No do be. You're like, it is so simple. Don't get caught up in the gap. Don't get caught up in the noise. No do be. No, it is simple. It's simple. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's relatable. It's human. Okay. So 2019, bigger political influence. You have the courage and the clarity to have a no-nonsense approach, to tell the truth, to create, it sounds like to create the new voice and message of intentional leadership. And you are that bridge between infrastructure, like brass, what Todd used to call brass tacks. I love that. The brass tacks of things, right?
Yeah.
Of infrastructure to intentional. It's like, it makes no sense, but it makes but what you're saying is, by doing the thing you have to do, you do it. It's like the food you're putting in your body, right? The infrastructure you're putting in place.
Oh, okay. So this comes back to, and I think I told you this, when I met with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, I said, stop investing in content and information. Start investing in hand-holding.
Yes.
That will close the gap. There's no absence of information.
Yes.
So that's the no. But you'll never get to the B unless, and so my job is to bridge the gap.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want to run a marathon, you start with 30 seconds. You've never run before, you start with 30 seconds of running. And then in a year, you're running a marathon.
Tell me about federal politics. What are you seeing in federal politics that leads you to know?
So I'm not sure if it's even federal politics. It's more at the federal level. Okay. So the political thing isn't necessarily, it's the organizations that are connected to the federal government. Like I said, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities investing in hand-holding, and then having some political influence that so that local governments can be taken a little more seriously. Currently, local government is not a level of government. And one of the things that I would like to be part of is moving in the dial towards getting local government recognized as a level of government so that they have more autonomy on their decisions. Mm. Because one of the things that this comes back to, and I don't even know if this is relevant, but part of my challenge working with elected officials is that I translate the reality of the staff to the politicians. Uh-huh. And I do so because they have not learned to articulate well what the federal government and the provincial government have, how those two levels of government have created complexity for local governments. And because they're not even a recognized level of government, they can just be imposed upon. Mm. So one of the things that I do now is I translate to the public and to politicians. This is the reality of your staff. They have no choice. They have a legislative environment that they must adhere to, that they didn't choose. It's been chosen for them. What I would like to find a way is to push back at the province and the feds to stop applying a a formula or a legislative environment that is not supportive for local government and actually creates more problems for them.
Okay.
And so where I would like to leverage some political influence is translating to the federal government what they have invariably done to local government. I don't care if it's at a provincial level or a federal level. But what I believe that I can do is articulate, and this comes back to understanding complexity science and knowing where you are in the system and how do you make those in the system at the top understand the complexity that they have created for the bottom. And it's not hierarchical, but it is it's more who decides what. And when the feds and the province make decisions that negatively impact other levels of government without understanding how they have increased the complexity, then if nobody's translating it back to them, it just happens without understanding what the impact to the system is. And that's what creates inefficiency. We want to talk about bureaucracy, that creates bureaucracy.
You hear how brilliant you are?
And this is the message. So this is the message that I know I'm right. I know I'm right. And so that is the message that I want to hammer home to those who can actually do something about it.
I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Like, this is it. I'm like, okay. This is it.
Did you get that?
All right. Here we go. And it's so interesting. Mary Beth, I haven't listened to it yet, but Mary Beth said, "Oh my God, have you listened to the Aaron Sorkin interview?" Aaron Sorkin wrote The West Wing, The Social Network. He's one of my favorite screenwriters.
Oh, okay.
Love his stuff. And I said, no, I haven't listened to it yet. And basically what he says in the interview is, what are you willing to fight for? Like, as a writer, what are you willing to fight for? And that's what you're willing to fight for. You said, I know I'm right. This is the crux of everything right now. The rest of it are all fucking how-tos, but the how-tos have to be anchored into this. Any how-to you put in this book has to be about what you just said. And I can't tell you what you just said because I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I don't get it, but I'm like, I could not listen to you because that was, and I stopped trying to follow because I was just absorbing. I know I'm right. What the top has created for the bottom. Understanding complexity science. Wow. Translating to the federal government what they have done. You want to talk about creating bureaucracy? That creates bureaucracy. Like that. Okay, that's it. That's it. Everything hinges on that message.
Yeah. And you know what? My audience will get that, right? Like the audience that I will be addressing, it'll land with them and they will get that. And that is the audience that I need. Those who can influence that change. And I do actually want to, I want a recording of this.
Yes.
Please. Because I know that sort of what just poured out. I mean, I know it lives in me, but like I totally get.
You're like, yeah, she's on it. Okay. Basically just wrote your introduction to your book right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I actually think I should send that to Brandy and get her to give me a transcription of that.
Okay.
Shut me.
Okay, down falls the angel. Ah!
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But like I said, that's actually where I want to go this year.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of that sort of yeah.
You know what's interesting about this too is there's a lot of millennial languaging in here. Not so much languaging. There's a millennial message in here, right? The millennials that are done with that want to affect change, that don't really care about the how-to. They're like, why are we doing this? Like,
yeah.
Which is interesting, right? Because so I'm just from a positioning perspective, you are not a millennial, but you can be a mentor for millennials because you are hip, you're fun, you're funny, you speak truth, you're gorgeous, you're fit, you are not, you are a mentor for millennials, which all I'm trying to say is you'll have an audience there too. That's all I'm trying to say. Because if you're only speaking to your age bracket, it's done. You will like what the fuck is the point?
Yeah.
Right.
You're absolutely right, and that's where again I think that that's the place to influence change, and that's why I'm less interested in the political bodies because they represent the older voters.
Yes.
And the reason that we have and it's not apathy, it's agnosticism. We don't have voting apathy, we have democratic agnosticism.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Keep going. We don't have voter apathy. We have voter
agnosticism.
Yeah.
And so this actually connects right back to what I said about power and authority. So authority exists in old dinosaur systems, but power doesn't. And if we're going to look for leverage points for change, we have to understand where power resides. And that's why we have to know about what our personal power is first. We don't have time to be wasting killing off brain cells and wasting our time on, not that there's anything wrong with entertainment, but just the treadmill or the hamster wheel. It's like we're going to do something different, and it lies within the millennials. They're going to be able to make changes that are going to flatline. They're going to get rid of bureaucracy, and they're going to flatline power and authority. It's already happening. Let's make it happen in a way that actually impacts some of our biggest issues, like climate change, like food security, like poverty reduction, like infrastructure investments. But until we understand how complexity works and systems operate, we don't know where the change lies, and we end up being on that treadmill. And that understanding that at a fundamental level is where truth lies.
And then what do we do about it?
We start to we start to look for those what are the leverage, how do I be a change agent in where I am in the system? How do I leverage change? What's the tweak? What's the small movement? What's the we don't break everything apart, that creates chaos, but what's the what's that? What are those incremental course corrections? Those incremental course corrections that are needed.
Okay, I'm with you, but my inner critic is going, meh.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go back to, so number one, you have an unbelievable breakthrough thought, right? You've said, you're basically saying, I know what creates bureaucracy, and we're going to undo it.
Yeah.
What? And your answer to that is, and actually in
well, I actually don't know the how yet. Like
right, but you've got your breakthrough thought, which is going to, and you know it because you know you're right.
Yes. Yeah.
When what the top has created for the bottom, like that's the problem. The problem is the top has created all this shit for the bottom, and we're creating bureaucracy. Okay, so we've got that. You've got this power versus authority. Authority exists in the old dinosaur systems, but power doesn't. I think you do have a solution in here. I think the solution that you're saying, but maybe you can't hear yet, is that you want to leverage points for change where power resides. Something about leveraging where power resides.
In some ways, it's kicking down an old door.
Okay.
And getting down and getting, well, again, part of it's going underneath the waterline and going, okay, why are we doing well, it comes back to intentionality. What's your intention? What's the intention here? It is about intentional leadership.
Okay.
And getting underneath what's going on.
Because intentions are simple, right? They're not complex.
Yeah. No, they're not. But if they're unclear, then if they're unclear, they lead to they lead to a scatterbomb approach to any problem, right? As opposed to sort of focused intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
And then we waste our resources. We waste our resources in a scatterbombed approach.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're local government, provincial government, federal government, or a nonprofit organization, or even a corporation. Although corporations get it much better because they're so focused on they have to be focused on the profit, right? But
oh my God, you're onto something. What if profit? Because you get to say this. You're like, we're already doing it right in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Profit is the simplicity corporations use to stay on track.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They make every decision based on, is this profitable?
Yeah.
You can even,
on a business case. Yeah.
You can even use that as an example of what works in terms of keeping it simple.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, what you're offering is that what if profit wasn't the only way to keep things simple? What's the other way? What is it?
Well, when it comes to nonprofit organizations, it's impact, right? It's social impact, environmental impact.
Okay, so let's
quality of life impact.
We can yeah, like impact. Have a drawing with the word impact in the middle,
mm-hmm.
And then whatever your organization stands for. Is it social impact? Is it whatever? It's family impact? Is it
How do you intend to have an impact?
Yeah. And so what you're saying is, what if, and again, this goes back to how do you teach to 1,000 people what you can teach to 10? And you're saying, here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Your organization stands for the impact it's here for, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes down to, does this decision further this impact or better this impact? And then you get to say, because we certainly do it as a profit model.
Exactly.
You get to say, it's not like we don't know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We do it all the time.
You can't say, well, you can't do that. You go, well, we do it about money.
Yep.
Anyone who has a business, anyone in here have a business? Anyone here not have a business but has a non-profit organization but knows that if they don't make money, they don't get paid?
Yeah.
How many of you are making decisions where your organization is going to go under? None of you?
Yeah.
Right. You know how to do this.
Yeah.
Now, what if? So there's your how-to. That's your how.
And that comes back to for governments when they're making decisions. This comes back to that 7th generation thinking. So your decision today, is if it's negatively impacting future generations, then be honest. Say, I want to negatively impact future generations. Tell the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't hide it.
Yeah.
Because if you're making decisions based on popularity and getting elected again and having people like you and getting accolades, then tell them, I'm actually making this decision so that I can negatively impact your children.
Here you go. Whoa, you were on it. Your core story word was power, right? Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so power versus authority, real power, true power.
Yeah.
Okay, circling back. So 2019, this message that you know you are right about how the top has created what the top has created for the bottom, and that all of that creates bureaucracy. It's why people are hiring you, because they need help with their infrastructure. And you're like, but there's more going on here than this. My message is, it's about impact.
Yeah, it's about impact. It's about intentionality. What's your intention?
Yeah.
What is your intention? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve?
Impact. So
yeah, exactly.
It's what's your intention for impact?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can't guarantee the impact, but we can guarantee our intention. And we stay on the course.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? We stay on the course of our intention for impact. And that is your answer when people go, well, oh my God, she's right. We're creating all this fucking bureaucracy and the top is laying all this stuff for the bottom. And then they go, now what?
Yeah.
And then you say, intentionality for impact.
So now that we know, what are you going to do about it?
Yes.
I'm going to help you close the knowing doing gap.
Yes. And what you're saying about do is
action.
I know, but it's so interesting. I'm like, so know is gathering the knowledge of where we are, what's working, what's not working, right?
Yeah.
And the edge of that is you're saying enough, no more content. Stop investing in content. Then we have, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I think do is impact and be is intention. Or do I have them backwards? know is information.
Yes. Yeah.
Do is, I'm not sure if they're backwards. Do we do intention so that we arrive at impact, which is the being? Or do we do impact by being intentional?
But is intention the bridge?
Yes, it is the bridge. Yeah. Yeah.
Impact is the intention is the bridge to and impact would be the do.
Okay.
And integration is be. But it's circular.
Okay. So know is information.
Yes, we've got that. The do is action. And the be is impact. And it's intention. Okay. Intention is the bridge to know do. And integration is the bridge to know is to do be.
Okay. Okay. And then you would have a question mark above know, and information is the bridge between question mark to knowing. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got chaos or complexity at the top, which is your question mark. And then you've got the bridge from complexity to knowledge is information, like truth, which is like truth information.
Yeah.
Not more information, it's the truth of the information. And then now we know, and you're saying, but when we get all stuck in this knowing, how much more can I know? How much more can I know? How much more can I know?
Yeah.
And you can say some of our organizations actually go into doing. We do go into doing. We do shit. We're doing stuff, but we're not necessarily doing on our road of intention.
Yeah.
We're putting out fires.
Mm-hmm.
We're not following the intention, the path of our intention, or the end result we're all going towards.
Yes.
Right?
This comes back to complexity when you're, instead of looking for what's emerging and being responsive, we're reactive by doing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the being is the reflective piece.
And the be though is the bridge of integration, right?
Yeah.
And then the circle is around it because you continue to just go from question mark to no do be, question mark to no do be. Now here's what's interesting to me. So let's say we get it. So now we've just collected our information from you. We understand this cyclical process of no do be. Now we're like, so okay, Christina, so what does being look like?
So what is being is the implementation of knowing. It's it's implementing what you know.
Okay, but
it actually looks like what you know. It's the embodiment of what you know.
I want to take it further, going back to your word of holistic. It's the holistic, or it's the 7-generation implementation of what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could challenge you and just say, oh, I'm being, because I'm doing what I know. But people are doing that already. But they're not necessarily intentionally doing. They're just doing what they know. And intention is directly connected to that bigger conversation of where are we going with this? And why are we going here? And what's the 7 generation impact?
Yeah.
I guess no matter where we go, we can't get away from that 7 generation conversation, can we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's already here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm going back to your second book of the No Do Be.
Yeah.
Which is a feeder book into what 7 generation actually looks like. But we can't just, it's not a one-trick pony. Like, we can't just craft this message of no do be without connecting it to impact, 7 generation impact.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into all that 7 generation impact is and what it means and why, but we can't not touch it. It has to be part of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not being, we're still just doing.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's again, it's living at the energetic level right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not so much like I don't know what to do with that at this point.
Right.
Although it lands, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, that makes so much sense.
And I think you're already doing it. And if we it's almost, so where my brain is going now is it's almost like we just need to know to what degree do we share this message right now, knowing that there's a bigger message coming. It's like you're already doing it. I mean, we had that concept of putting a stone in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Pulling the stone out and putting it on the thing.
Yeah.
Partly for you, but also for your audience, because your audience will tell stories about, and then she took the stone out of her pocket and she held it up and she said, this is your decision right here.
Yeah.
You are this stone, right? So it's like, if that's right now, if all 7 generation impact was for this particular message was just that, it's just touching humanity. That's all we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, we need to tidy, but like write that first and know and trust that the bigger 7 generation piece is coming. And that's all your First Nation work. It's going to be all of that federal, like where Canada is going already.
Yeah.
Like, we're already going there.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. You don't have to. I'll carry it for you.
Cool.
I got it. Because what's happening is there's a whole other story coming and I can feel it and hear it and see it, but it's not, we can't go there yet because we haven't finished this piece, but we can't ignore it. It's here because it wants to be known, right?
There's a place for it, and
it's
sort of waiting for the first puzzle piece to get into place. Yeah.
And in the advancement of your career.
Yeah.
Don't go from this level that you're currently, where your bread and butter is being called into small government, right?
Yeah.
We don't go from that into federal conversations like that.
Yeah.
We have to prove to the federal conversations that all the stones, all the pieces are in place.
Yeah. And that's actually the cool thing for me right now, is that that's happening. Like my work is being funded by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities.
Wow.
And they know who I am.
Have you asked them what they want with you? Like, it would be a great conversation to sit down with someone big up there and say, hey, you see what I do.
Yeah.
You love what you do.
Yeah.
What would you have me do next? I know what I'm working on, but if you could have your way with what I do, where would you love for this to go?
Yeah.
Because they care too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, girl. So we've got So the stuff that you've just created on your website or the offering that you have right now, that's kind of the municipal offerings, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's alive and well, and you have a book for that already. Like you have a workbook or something for that, right?
No, I don't have a workbook for that. That is going to be very, that's going to be organic. That's going to be
joy of whatever. Remember the thing?
The joy of governing. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have that.
I've got, absolutely. Yeah. So I have a book that has already been, so it's been funded by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm going back to a drawing from our last talk where we had the 3 levels, right? We had the municipal, and then we had provincial, and then, or no do be, and then 7th generation. So it looks like the first one's already, you've got that going. You've got an online presence about it. You've got an online offering about it. You've got a workbook that's coming on it. You're golden, done. We can say to the universe, thank you. I'm complete here. I can like put it on autopilot. Let it just go. Let it be. So now we're going to grow this next offering of yours, which is this no do be message about, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the science of complexity, or undoing, the undoing bureaucracy, or I don't know, something like that. Because that's essentially what it is. If we call it no do be, they're gonna like, what the fuck is she talking about? Or it could be the no do be approach to unbureaucratize. How do you unbureaucratic? What's that funky word? Then like the unbureaucracy, undoing the knots of bureaucracy. Something.
Flatlining bureaucracy.
Oh my God, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Flatlining bureaucracy for better change or something, or for, you got to have what it's for, or no one's going to pick it up because it just sounds weird. Flatlining bureaucracy for
intentional impact.
Oh. No, yes, I know what you're saying, but we want to say like what's the marketable? Flatlining, you could say for intentional impact is great for a talk, a conference talk.
Yeah.
Cover of your book, flatlining bureaucracy for change.
Systemic change.
Yes.
Because that's really where I'm going.
Yes. Or flatlining bureaucracy for better governance. Flatlining bureaucracy for systemic change. I like systemic change.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's where it's going.
So, okay, here we go. So act 1, no. Act 2, do. Act 3, be. No, do, be. 3 acts of your book right there.
Yeah.
Your turning point between knowing and doing. It's okay. I don't mean to, I'm going to figure this out. I've got some writing exercises on the turning points, but
okay.
Where they will arrive.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. And there you are on stage. Like, this is a much bigger conversation. Because you're flatlining bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Wow. Much bigger conversation. So I'm curious, in the work that you're currently doing, how much of what you're currently doing do you share your own personal story? And I'm not saying you have to in this one. I'm just not sure if it wants to be in here or not. I kind of don't think it does. My instincts are like saying, nope, 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 but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because actually the longer I go, the less I share my personal story and the more storytelling I do.
Mm-hmm. Like of
Right?
people you've worked with and
People that I've worked with, some from my own experience, but it's more the storytelling, more of the drawing analogies,
yeah.
telling stories, pulling the threads together, and less because that's more in my own personal experience is more in the rear view mirror.
Yeah. And I can see how your personal story works really well on that first level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what we're looking for as we do the turning points of Act 1, 2, and 3 is a story
Mm-hmm.
that connects the dots. So it could be from, a client you've worked with or what you've observed or something else. You might end up doing sort of more of the parable approach,
Yeah.
like the book that you read at my place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is totally a parable approach.
Yeah, the Mitch, yeah.
That's very you.
Yeah.
Fictional.
Yeah. It's funny. I just finished The Alchemist.
Oh, yes. Again.
Yeah. And I passed it on to Ben, which was really interesting. So, yeah.
How comfortable are you writing like that?
Well, in many ways, I kind of do a little bit of that, like in all of my articles for Asset Management BC, I always start with like an analogy or imagine this happened, right? So right now I'm working on an article for Asset Management BC, and I'm talking about my experience in Mexico, right? So I'm pulling different pieces of the story together, and painting a picture, and then I'm going to relate it to the actual topic. And I do that all the time. Like I wrote an article for Asset Management BC, and I said, imagine you run into a friend. I can't remember all the details, but you run into a friend, and they tell you that they're going on a family vacation to Disneyland, and they're one of your coworkers, and you know that they don't, that they're not in a great financial position, and they tell you, well, we're actually not going to buy car insurance, and we're not going to, we're going to live on craft dinner, and this is how we're going to do that. We're going to live this way for 6 months. You would think they were ludicrous, right? And so then I talk about on a much larger scale, that's kind of what we're doing when we're building new infrastructure without taking operations, maintenance, and renewal into consideration, right? So then I dive into the whole academic piece and technological piece around investing in infrastructure. What I do is I'll take analogies like that on a smaller scale, and I'll tell a story that's ridiculous where you go, well, that's stupid. And then it's like, oh my gosh, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. So what I want you to consider doing, I'm thinking as a reader of your book, we love to dive into practicals, but we love to be invited into those practicals by being inspired.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And so I like what you just said, which is, you give these everyday examples. It's not quite meaty enough for a book. So almost like we need to create a fictional scenario, or a fictional town, or a fictional city, or a fictional government body, or a fictional organization, right? With these fictional stock characters, and who they are, bossy pants this person, head in the sand this person, or whatever, right? And you create them with love because they're not one-dimensional. They're complex, like the rest of us. So we almost like we create this sort of this body of characters that follow you through each act.
Okay.
So the chapter might open on imagine this, and then you introduce us to these characters, and you set the scene of this scenario of no, right? KNOW. And then we dive into know, right? So that's our segue into everything about knowing. And then we get to the end of the chapter, and we have a turning point into doing with the same set of characters you introduced us to in the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Sense?
Yeah.
So that you're not the carrier of it.
Yeah.
Neither are any of your clients. So their stories aren't in there. It's a fictional, it's totally fiction. And then you can blow it out as big as you want it to go because it's totally fiction.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Does that feel interesting to you?
Yeah, it totally does.
I can see you're actually salivating a little bit. You're like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I could have some fun with that. And I think that I think drawing it out is the starting place.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And I want you to think, you might want to go back to some of those, like, if you need to like do some research, Robin Sharma, like all of Robin Sharma's books are all told through parable like that.
Right. Yeah. That's a good idea. Okay. Yeah.
They're all like that.
The monk who sold his Ferrari.
Yeah. My favorite one is the Leader Without a Title.
Okay.
That one's my favorite one. It makes them so accessible, right?
Yeah.
But what's going to be interesting about your book is that your book isn't just in parable. It's like couched in it. So it's like every section opens and closes with it, but then you have in the beginning, the middle. Yeah. You have all the practicals and research and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that. That feels a little clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's going to open you up to other audiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bigger audiences. Okay. All right. So here's what we know from our session today. We know that our work together is about what you said, jetting pretty big. That's our work together, is about rocket fuel, the right jet and the right fuel to go.
Yeah.
We know that this is about flatlining bureaucracy with for intent. No, what did you say? For something change, intentional change,
systemic change.
Yeah. For systemic change. We know that this book is flatlining bureaucracy for systemic change, and the how we are going to get there is we're going to show people the difference between power and authority. We are going to connect the dots about intentional leadership. And once we understand intentional leadership and we say, well, how the fuck do we do that? You say impact.
Yeah.
Action with impact in mind. From this session, we also know that for some reason, the word leverage is really important. I just want to call that out. The word leveraging is important. I suspect that in each chapter of Know, Do, Be, there was something you said about, there's something you said about small change, making the small changes, which is like leveraging what you've already got going and making a tweak, making a small change. There's something about leverage.
Yeah, the course correct, right?
Yeah.
Like it's looking for the greatest leverage.
Yeah.
In looking to be a change maker with the greatest amount of leverage.
Right. Yeah. And you said that in here. Yeah. And you said, how do I be a change agent in the system? And then you said, what's the small movement and the incremental course correct?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So we know that that's somehow in here as well. And we also know, what else did you say? Where did it, that was like, woo, so important. Something about the voice of your book, and now I know why the whole parable thing arrived. The voice of your book needs to sound like you're talking to 10 people.
Yeah.
Voice of your book. You need to sound like you're talking to 10 people. And that being, and we're going to close this book on that being is 7th generation implementation of knowing.
Yeah.
And we'll just float the idea of what 7th generation implementation is. So the next book of 7th generation is set up. Wow. And I really want you to remember, and I know you have this recording, when you said, I know I'm right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you said courage. What do you want this year? You said, I want courage and clarity to speak the truth. That's the source of that place.
Yeah.
When you're writing, when you're speaking, when you are engaging with your clients, if you can't feel that, I know I'm right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Totally. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So after this, I am going to send you, so what I'm going to do now is every month, I'm going to send you a set of writing assignments.
Okay, good.
And I'm trusting that your life is full, and these writing assignments might not come back in book form. I don't want you to worry about it, because you're going to write your book on your feet, because you're living it and working it.
Yeah.
So I want you to think of these like journal writing.
Yeah. Okay.
And at some point, probably 6 months from now, I'll be able to say, we've got it all.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got it all. Now we need to turn it into a book.
Okay.
But all the content will be in.
Okay. That sounds good. Awesome.
How do you feel?
Oh, good. I need a shower.
Okay. You need a shower. But you're good? You're golden?
Yeah, I'm good. Awesome.
All right, beauty.
All right.
Have a great
Hey, Happy New Year to you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so glad that your space is all that. I really am.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. It's awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, love.
Okay.
Bye-bye.